Greetings, metallurgists. Marty here from Heavy Metallurgy, back with our first review of 2024. This time, we're going to take a pretty candid look at a 2024 release by a long-running band named Scanner. Stick around and let's check it out. Yes, I'm here today to talk about Scanner's 7th full-length album called The Cosmic Race, dropped January 12th, 2024 via Rock of Angels Records. Scanner has been around since 1988, and their debut album Hypertrace kind of pegged them initially as a Halloween wannabe power metal band. And a lot of people, I think, kind of cast them aside because of that without really realizing just how great this band was. Axel Julius is the main songwriter for this band, and is the main person that has been in the band since the very beginning throughout its 36 years. And let's face it, Scanner really hasn't been a very prolific band. They've put out Hypertrace, Terminal Earth, Mental Reservation, Ball of the Damned, Scantropolis. They're leading up to this new album's latest, the Judgement. And of course we have the Cosmic Race, which has been it's been over 9 years in the making. And one thing that I think has kind of been a thorn in Scanner's side is the fact that almost every single album has had a different lineup, most notably being a different singer. Until, of course, the Judgement, the singer, it's a tough name, sorry, Ephthemius Ioannidis. He sang on this is the first album he sang on. He also sang on the Galactos tapes, which is like a best of, and then they redid some songs on there. He sang on that, and now he is in the band again singing on the Cosmic Race. So this is the longest period of time that Scanner has had the same singer, which it's actually starting to build some sort of a consistency, which is good. And not saying that each of these albums has been weird, because it really hasn't. It's always been German heavy metal based, with the power metal leaning for sure here and there on certain albums. But each album has had its own different feel because of the singer. Well, Ephthemius is starting to settle in here and giving Scanner something that they can continue to work with and build upon. And the Cosmic Race is an album, once I heard that it was coming, I've been very excited for. I have purchased the album. It is on the way. But admittedly, this was a grower album for me. I really had to give this one a lot of listens to finally become accustomed to the songs. Ephthemius's vocal style is, his lower register is almost like he's speaking. So you can really hear his accent. His accent's very strong, and he has a very forced vibrato. It's very severe the way it swings back and forth. And that is something that took me a minute to get used to, especially on the more mid-paced nature of this album. He's forced to do slower verses, slower phrasing with the lyrics. And it highlights his accent, and it highlights the vibrato in his voice. But then when he goes into the higher register, or the more of a singing voice for the choruses, the vibrato fits better, and he has more of a triumphant tone in his singing style. I see why Axel likes this guy's singing, because he's not a typical metal or power metal singer. He's very much a working man's type of singing style, and he has a very unique sound, and I just had to find myself on this record really working to appreciate what he's doing here. It finally happened. But before we get into the tracks here, let's talk about The Cosmic Race is a concept album. It follows up on the storyline that was set forth on Hypertrace. It's a world ravaged by disaster, so the human race is in a ship moving to find a place called Terion. So basically, This continues with the story of the scanner, first revealed on their debut album, Hypertrace. It explains the journey of a human settlement on their journey to planet Tyrion. And this story here, I don't have the lyrics in front of me. I have not read the lyrics. It sounds, according to the story, it sounds like they might have reached Tyrion. I don't know for sure. And having said that this is a concept-based album, the album musically feels like a journey, like it's going somewhere. You can hear the mid-pace nature of it. It's like them toiling and years and years and years in space, and it's interesting. But we're going to break it down here track by track. The album starts off with the Earth Song, the most power metal track on the album, with frantic note-based melody lines and equally aggressive power chord progressions, pushed into the supernova by speedy double-bassed rhythms. This is probably the most exciting song on the album, and it was an early track release that they did. It sells their power metal side, and it shows that they're capable of writing more aggressive, upbeat, engaging tracks. And I really like this song. It sets off the mood perfectly well for the rest of the album to unfold beneath it.
Those who gave the warning were always mocked by you, and none respect the nature of the volcano's view.
Face the Fight is next. The album here settles into a mid-paced to slightly up-tempo beat that becomes the focus and foundation for most of the album. Solid German heavy metal, a la Accept, is the first thing that comes to mind here. These guys kind of stay in that mid-paced, head-bangable Accept vibe here. Axel produces endless crunch heavy riffs with smart melody lines. That's the basis for this whole album. The song comes alive in the chorus. Euphemius's vocals, when he gets in that higher register, like I mentioned earlier, it opens up the song. And they also fill in the bottom end with layered vocals, sometimes a choir singing along with him, or sometimes a subtle synth line to once again lift up and empower that chorus. It's a great touch. It really keeps me engaged for each song, and I find myself really wanting to get to that chorus. Warriors of the Light is next. The pre-chorus and Euphemius's emotive singing make this a favorite on the album, packing synths underneath. Once again, it gives triumph to the song. Excellent, well-written pre-chorus. The chorus itself is kind of a standard chanted gang yell type of metal chorus. Great song. The album is off to a great start so far. All right, Dance of the Dead. It's more of a down-tuned and heavier feel initially in the intro, yet the song kind of tapers off and hints at ballad-esque feel with slower, cleaner musical moments. Again, the passion in the chorus makes this track something special. Euphemius really knows how to sell it, all I can say. I keep going over and over again, and I hope to highlight that somewhat here in the clips with that go along with this review. I just find myself waiting to get to that point in every song, which it isn't saying that the rest of the song is bad. I know what's coming, and I want more of that.
I am the merciless enforcer. If you don't get it right, the empire grows. See when you sun is rising.
When we get to the song Scanner's Law, there's something that is going on with the drum sound in particular that I guess would be a good time now to talk about the production of this album. All their other records have had a really good sound, and this album has a good sound as well, don't get me wrong, but there is a level of home recording feel to this. It sounds like It was recorded in a home studio, which not a bad thing. Everything sounds good. The guitars, the mix is right. Where it sounds most digital is in the drum sound. And I really like the kick and the snare sound. They cut, they do a good job. And drummer Boris Frankel is quite a skilled drummer when it comes to, quicker rhythms and, steady beat. Where he struggles is in some of his fills. And there is something going on with the tom sound, the tom-tom sound of the drum kit. Sounds very digital, very plunky sounding, too loud in the mix. And there's several fills where he falls off of the meter or doesn't know quite what to do. It sounds awkward. That, coupled with the fact that the drums sound weird, it sounds like a sack of potatoes rolling down the stairs. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, Scanner's Law is another double bass fueled ripper. The awkward digital sound, it makes the track suffer a little bit. But otherwise, the track is a good, it offers a good and needed dynamic change at this point in the album. It gives a little more of an up-tempo swing. In spite of some of the cracks in the drum performance, it's a good song. But we're starting to see something weird going on here. That is followed up with A New Horizon. This is the album's ballad. The song kind of derails the album for me. Once again, the drummer Boris seems to struggle putting sensible fills in between the transitions. It gives the song a lurching quality, which, if you want a ballad, you want it to be smooth and flowing and going from softer to heavier stuff seamlessly. His fills kind of, it makes it feel like it's slopping in, out of sequence. It's very awkward. And the fact that when the quieter parts, the clean chords, picking notes, there seems to be an emptiness in the background. I don't know if that was fitting the concept of the album or what, but just sitting and listening to the song, it feels unfinished. It feels like it's lacking. It feels like it needs something. And, the imperfections in the drum work, it really takes me out of the flow and otherwise excellence of this record. Farewell to the Sun follows up the ballad. After a slow, somber midpoint of an album, if it were me, I'd want more of an energetic return to snap the listener out of the melancholy that may have presented itself. And it would have benefited the album if they did that. But anyway, Farewell to the Sun is back to mid-paced heavy metal, which is pretty much the dominant delivery of this record. The verses have a solid push, but the vocals feel more like narration until yet another excellent, though brief chorus saves the song. It's a decent track, just feels undercooked.
The ship lies wide and calm while the crew disappearing in town. They know they are the ones who...
Space Battalion, yes, another solid track, but lacks overall excitement. The last and first in line is the closing track on this album. Axel provides yet again very smart and well-considered riffs and song crafting. The whole track is just lacking fire and excitement. End this album with a bang. End the concept with a bang. Sell the story. I can't sit here and say that the song is bad because it isn't. It's really well written. It goes somewhere. There's changes within the music, but it's very much a even keel, straight ahead pace that doesn't deviate from just that flowing along rock/metal beat. It's been a lot of years since Scanner has come out of hibernation. I gotta say, it has taken me many listens, but I really like this record. Enough so that I ordered it from Europe. And I just had to really sit with it for a while, which to me is a sign of a good record. Is this a perfect record? It isn't. It isn't. But I think, Axel Julius, he's doing a really good job writing some solid stuff. And the fact that Scanner sounds like Scanner. They don't really sound like a bunch of other bands mushed together. They have their own sound, they have their own presentation, they have their own feel. It's a really good band that has stood the test of time, even though it has not put a very prolific footprint on the metal scene. You know, this is the 7th album. You know, quality over quantity. And I gotta say, this album, it's really good. There's a few things here and there. Next time, maybe go into a studio. Maybe look at the pacing of your album. Starts off really strong. There's a couple moments where it peaks, a little more energetic, shots here and there, some double bass here and there. Stack that out a little bit more evenly so it bookends it. Start strong, end strong. Put the more mid-pace stuff in the center with some peaks and valleys. I think that would have really, really helped this album a lot. Just a little bit of restructuring of track placement would have definitely helped this album out a lot. Because for me, the first half of the album up to the ballad is great. Really good, solid German heavy metal. After the ballad, like I said, I felt derailed. I was taken out of the storyline, out of the feel that the album was providing. And the album, though good, after recovering from that ballad was tough because there was no peaks and valleys. It was all kind of a mid-pace slog until the end. And I do want to say before we end, the album art. I look at the album art on this and I want to listen to the album. It's some of the best art they've done since Hypertrace. I look at it, I feel like I'm being sucked into that black hole. I want to hear the story. I want to hear the guitar work. I want to hear Scanner. And I think this is a good return. I don't think this is a great return. But having said that, the more I've spun the record, it is revealed more and more to me. So I'm looking forward to getting my copy of the CD and sitting with it further. You know, this is one I'm looking forward to revisiting by the end of the year. Is this something that's going to make my year-end list? I don't know. Right now, I'm enjoying it. I like it even more so for the fact that it sounds like nobody else. And, you know, it's 2024. There's a million bands that sound the same. So even if it's not a perfect album, as long as it has its own individuality, I'm down with it. So yeah, that's it. Check out The Cosmic Race by Scanner, put out by Rock of Angels Records. It's a good, solid album. It's getting us into the metal mindset going into 2024. And if you enjoyed this review, we're firing back up for the year. We got a lot more coming your way, a lot more content, a lot more interviews, a lot more things going on with Heavy Metallurgy. Be sure to check us out. And if you like it, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, comment. Until next time, cheers.
You want this throne?